Hi, and welcome to episode 12 of the 21st Century Pharmacist Show. Today I'm going to do part 4 of a 4-part series called The Truth About Fat. If you missed any of the first 3 parts, please go back and watch, and today I'm going to give a quick summary of what we've talked about and why I think it's important, and you decide what you think is best for you and your health. So, let's just get right into it. Part 1 was brought on, or this whole 4-part series was brought on by a recent American Heart Association presidential committee or presidential something, that recommendation, I guess is the best word, that said, hey, we need to cut down on coconut fat or coconut oil. We need to eat more omega-6 or oils like corn and I think soybean are the two they specifically may have mentioned. And we need to do this because it'll lower our risk for heart disease, because it'll lower our LDL levels or our low density lipoproteins, which is a measurement of cholesterol, a partial measurement of cholesterol. So today I'm going to do a quick review. I like to write in red for things I think we should avoid and green for things that I think we probably should not avoid. And I do that because that's the way we've structured all our shopping lists and recipes and things in our OptiLife RX program. So I'm going to get right into it. So American Heart Association said eat more omega-6 oils from things like corn, soybean. These include canola, cottonseed, really just any vegetable oil. Okay? And they said that we should do less what I like to call medium chain triglycerides, fats, or coconut oil. And I don't think it's specifically in this report, but they said that I should do less butter also, and we're always talking about grass-fed when I say butter, and that we would be better off to eat margarine, again, because all in the name of lowering my LDL. And in the middle here, we talked about omega-3 fats, and that's going to be important as we go, which we would find from wild fish, wild-caught fish, not farm-raised, grass-fed, grass-finished beef. Grass-fed butter should be over here, but they told me to eat less. I got it over in the wrong column. And what I'll call real pastured eggs. And there's others, but we're just hitting the highlights here and summarizing. So they told me that I should eat less of this and more of this. And so I just made the case and used research to show that these are typically well over 88% is kind of the least percent of these that would be genetically modified organisms, or GMOs we call them, and how they're sprayed with chemicals. They're genetically modified so that we can spray them with these herbicides that will kill weeds and grasses and things. And they're sprayed directly on the plants that I'm supposed to be consuming, and talked about how those sprays can affect our health in so many ways. I went through that in episode 3. And versus here where I'm trying to get things that are not genetically modified but are the way nature intended, the way God intended, grass-fed, grass-finished, pastured eggs from chickens that don't eat corn and don't eat soy and don't eat canola and don't eat these vegetable oils and feeds that contain these genetically modified things and these herbicides and pesticides that are put in there. And so we know that too many omega-6s can create inflammation. And that omega-3s can be anti-inflammatory. And we know that coconut oil in particular can help the body actually burn fat, and it can help increase energy. And coconut oil contains lauric acid, which has some antifungal, antibacterial, properties. It can increase gut bacteria, good gut bacteria, we'll call it. Good gut bacteria would be probiotics. It can, when I say increase, it can feed the good ones positively so that they can survive better. These, however, can decrease good gut bacteria and lead to an imbalance of too much bad and not enough good bacteria. Again, went through that in some of the earlier ones. So, the recommendation tells me to do more omega-6s and less of these others. Well, not of these others, but specifically coconut oil, and use margarine instead of butter. It was an earlier recommendation. And the average American today has an average ratio of omega-6 to omega-3s of somewhere between 15, that should be a 3, and that should not be in red. Let me erase that. Omega-3 has a 15 to 1 to 40 to 1, depending on different research you look at, but it should be somewhere in there on average. 15 omega-6s to every 1 omega-3 to 40 omega-6s to every 1 omega-3. And all pretty much the agreed on ratio that would lead to the best health is 4 omega-6s to 1 omega-3. And some even go 1 omega-6 to 1 omega-3. Now I wrote omega-6 there in green because we prefer and teach that people get their omega-6s not from these oils they're recommending we eat that are genetically modified and full of these herbicides and create more inflammation and can lead to more bad bacteria in the gut and all these things. But we recommend the omega-6s come in to the green from things like nuts, seeds, these kind of things where we would naturally find omega-6s. And these would be just raw nuts and seeds as much as possible. We would exclude peanuts from this. Peanuts are heavily sprayed. Peanuts are really not even a nut. I mean, lots of issues. So let's don't put peanuts in the good list, but let's put them in the... And peanut oil is another one I could have hit on there, I guess. Let's put them there. So what I wanted to do was go through this and to just say that the idea that just looking at one single number and that decreasing our risk of heart disease may not be the best way to approach it. While these coconut oils and grass-fed butters and some of these other things can raise our LDL levels, and many people they actually decrease. But while, let's say they will raise the LDL levels, so we'll just make it easy for this talk, they also will typically raise my HDL levels or my high-density lipoproteins, which can be protective against heart disease. Okay, so both of these can do that. They will typically decrease my triglycerides, which is important, and they will increase maybe my LDL number, but more importantly, my LDL particle sizes in many cases. And as I've taught in earlier videos, and as I always teach in my classes when we get to heart disease, the most important things we need to know are not just total LDL, but the particle sizes of the LDL, because the bigger the particle sizes, the less likely they are to create havoc in my arteries and in my heart and create those issues. And the higher I can get my HDL, assuming the particle sizes are good, and they typically are when we're eating from these green things that I have on the board, we will increase the size of the HDL, we'll increase the number of HDL or the level of HDL, we'll increase the LDL particle sizes, we'll decrease the triglycerides, we'll typically help the body have more energy, the brain to think clearer, will help the body burn more fat, which obviously helps reduce our risk of heart disease and every disease there is out there. So just think, make good informed decisions before you decide. Don't just listen to what I say, don't just listen to what other experts say, but base it on science. I will tell you, for the program, the OptiLife RX program, for me and my family, for my OptiLife RX team, we eat off the green, we don't eat off the red. And for the people that I teach and that have come through the OptiLife RX program, same thing. We follow exactly what we teach. I do exactly what I teach people to do. And we have amazing results. So what I would say is make the best decision for you and your family, but have the facts. Know the difference in the recommendations. Know what you're getting. Know really what numbers may be more important than just the standard numbers that sometimes are just looked at. So please please share this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You know that this can help a lot of people. There's people out there suffering. You know, there's so many Americans with heart disease. There's so many Americans with diabetes. There's so many Americans that are overweight. I mean, we have an epidemic of these things. And I think a lot of it is because we're following a pattern. And when we follow the pattern that we're told to follow, we're probably going to continue to get these results that are not very good for America and for America's health. So please share this, like this, subscribe, tell others about it, tell them that that can be helped by this. And we look forward to seeing you at our next episode. So thanks a lot. See you next time. It chelates minerals, and that's how it kills these weeds. The problem is, it also chelates the minerals in the plants that are being sprayed. So we'll take, for example, we're not talking about the omega-6 oils for just a second, but